Hey guys, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. And as you can see, we are inside my house and I am doing wifey chores. I am unpacking, organizing, and trying to make my house a livable space while unpacking all of the stuff from my house in Oregon. For those of you who do not know, I just recently made the permanent move to our new farm here in North Central Arkansas from our mini micro farm in Oregon. So it was 2,146 miles from driveway to driveway. It has taken us over a year to move most of our stuff, and I am now in the phases of unpacking that stuff, and in doing so I am making sure that I'm setting it up in an organized fashion so that I may hopefully be able to run a smooth farm when the harvest starts coming in this summer. So come along with me and welcome to my home. So first things first, super exciting. Stopped by the cafe yesterday and picked up 6 more tubs. They're jugs actually, and these are fryer, the oil jugs is what it is, shortenings and oils. And what these jugs will turn into is they will turn into winter sowing projects in the future. So one little, quick tip here, and the reason why I have these jugs sitting in here is for winter sowing your seeds if you do not have a greenhouse or the ability to put up grow lights and have a place to start your seeds that's warm. You can practice winter sowing. There are many people out there that have YouTube channels that just revolve strictly around this. There is a Facebook group that is strictly about this. I'm not an expert, but that is what these jugs are for. I will take the cardboard off of them and wash them. They are not clean, so I need to wash them, hence the reason why they're in my kitchen. And this is basically my pantry, part of it. This is where the first phase of the food pantry is. And then, of course, I've been unpacking, so there's a ton of, glassware and jars, and everything that's sitting on the counter needs to go in the dishwasher. It's stuff that I have unpacked, and everything is getting a wash and a once over. Of course, you can see Forrest's milk jug up there. They come in every day and get washed. And so this is not by any means a clean, tidy kitchen. This is what it looks like when you're unpacking and cleaning everything and organizing. These 2 shelves over here are going to go up here to extend this shelving pantry system, and that is going to be another source for food storage. And then as well as that, this is my office space, and this is where a lot of our dry bulk food storage is going. As you can see, we have buckets there with sugar, beans, flour, and so we have bulk storage in this office space. This is what I'm doing. So on this, you can see that I have already set up, we have a Mexican section, we have an Asian section. My husband loves Asian food. And of course, as you know, a lot of Asian food that you buy out at a restaurant is full of things that are not good for you. So we do a lot of home cooking of Asian food. So this is his little Asian section. I have a bread section. I have a cookie section. Condiments and sauces. I'm a sucker for ranch. It's one of my things that I'd like to get away from, but I struggle getting away from it. And then all of my oils and stuff are going to go here because I love specialty oils. And we have a canning section. There's pickling salt back there too. I'm doing an Italian section down there. And of course, all of my spices are going in mason jars to keep them fresh and free of any bugs. I don't know if you guys know. If you're from the South, you understand. If you're not, maybe you don't, but dry goods need to be in a sealed container here. So everything's going in mason jars. This is our coffee and tea section. And of course, more spices. We have a ton of spices. So, and this over here is my oils and, you know, cooking stuff. And so this corner it's getting cluttered already, and it needs to be alleviated. So a lot of this stuff is going to go in shelving as well. So it is the next day, and yes, I am in a tank top. It is supposed to be close to 60 degrees today, and it feels wonderful out there, but day 5 of being in the kitchen. But I'm happy to say that for now, this task is over. Mr. Wonderful has got some bacon that he needs to process, so he has kind of taken over the kitchen. But I do want to show you guys what the pantry looks like. And the reason why I'm showing you this is only because, not because I'm an expert. Again, this is not a how-to. There's plenty of women out there that are putting out some phenomenal videos about organizing your pantry. However, being a homesteader, I think it's important, and I know that I love watching videos about people's pantries and how they organize their stuff. And also, I like watching what my fellow homesteaders have in their cabinets as far as seasonings and things like that. So Mr. Wonderful's taken over the kitchen. I am almost done with all of the dishes. But the pantry is organized as much as it possibly can be. Mr. Wonderful came in and took out what he's going to use on the meat processing, and so I'm going to flip you guys around and show you what the end result is, so that maybe it will help you, or at the very least inspire you to get in those pantries and get them organized before the harvest season comes. Because you guys, when we are making salsa and pickles and sausage and bacon and bratwurst and all the things that we love to can, chili, we want to know where those spices are, and we want to know if we need to order them now. So it's good to have, in my opinion, it's good to have a visible avenue as far as to be able to see your spices, where you can, you know, easily look at them and be like, ooh, you know, I only have a half a jar of red pepper flakes left. I need to make sure that I grow the kind of peppers that I like to grow for red pepper flakes, which for us, it happens to be cayenne. This is what he pulled out for this project, and I'm just going to go over these really quickly with you. We have juniper berries, Chinese 5-spice, 5 star anise, coriander, seasoning salt, allspice, cinnamon sticks, citric acid. This is cumin, meat tenderizer, Cajun 2-step, rosemary leaves, anise, spadel, pork chop and rib, chives, pink curing salt, whole fennel seeds, and backwoods cured sausage for summer sausage. I don't know if he's going to use all these. I just know these are the ones that he pulled out. Moving on to the bigger section, I choose to put a lot of the stuff that I use on a pretty regular basis, like my oats, flour, cornmeal, powdered sugar, dry milk, in bigger jars. So having gallon, half gallon, quart, pint, and of course half pint jars is good when you're homesteading, and this is a really good way to seal them, and they, you know, they keep the moisture here in, you know, the humid south out, as well as the bugs. So there's my big stuff. I've got some miscellaneous stuff. I ran out of half-gallon jars, and so I'm gonna put all my pasta in half-gallon jars as well. And I have to make it, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, I do have simple fast foods in my cupboard. I don't use them a lot, but we do have them for those special occasions. And I don't have any of my canned goods. I didn't, with the weight of them and the fragility, how fragile they were, I didn't want to chance packing them in boxes and hauling them all the way across the country. You will see a few here and there, but I left all my bulk foods back in Oregon with my friends to enjoy. So we are starting over with our pantry, and so because I haven't had a full-time garden here yet, I do have canned goods from the store, which there is no shame in that. And I'm a big, huge advocate of do what you can where you're at. Maybe you don't have the ability to grow enough green beans to can them. There's no shame in buying canned green beans. You know, it's always good to have diced tomatoes. So anyway, there's that little snippet. That's why you're not seeing much canned goods from the person who claims that she cans. I do. I just left it all in Oregon. So you guys are gonna have to trust me on that, and I promise you that I'll bring you footage of what we can out of the garden this year. So I have a whole coffee section, tea section, you know, all my teas. This actually is mint that I harvested in my garden in Oregon and brought with me. And then, of course, back into spices, pickling spice. I bought this and I kind of like it. I usually zhuzh it up a little bit when I'm canning pickles. This was just a pre-mix. And it's kind of nice if I'm in a hurry and I just want to can a few jars. It's nice to have this to add to the mix, and then I can add, you know, dill or red pepper flakes or anything that I like. I find it very sweet. So just be aware of that if you're buying pre-made pickling spice. Maybe put a tablespoon of it in a grinder and add it to some vinegar and water and taste it and see how sweet it is. I find that this is more on like the bread and butter side than the dill side. So just an FYI. We do a lot of grilled meat, obviously, when we harvest whole animals. So we cook a lot of big cuts of meat, briskets and tri-tips and things like that. So we have a lot of rubs. So rub, cayenne pepper, paprika, dill, basil leaves, cilantro, ground mustard. That is one of my guilty pleasures. Montreal steak seasoning. It's got sugar in it. It's got a ton of salt in it. It's terrible for you, but in the summertime when it's 9 o'clock and I haven't made my steak yet, it's a guilty pleasure. Turmeric, let's see. Carne asada, obviously, big meat eaters, so we love carne asada. Old Bay seasoning. White pepper, again, Mr. Wonderful loves Asian. Chipotle pepper, parsley flakes, white sesame seeds, marjoram, smoked paprika, hickory smoke powder, ranch. I've already admitted that's a guilty pleasure of mine. Celery seed, and what's the other big guy? Oh, thyme. If you got a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of time. Ground cardamom, oregano, ground black pepper. Slap Ya Mama. If you've never tried Slap Ya Mama, that is my husband's guilty pleasure, and it's really not that guilty. I'm actually going to try to make it this year out of my garden. It's just let's see, salt, chili pepper flakes, and garlic, I think. Anyway, super simple ingredients. Honey hog barbecue, ground nutmeg, honey mustard, bay leaves, ground sage, ground cloves, whole cloves, Italian seasoning, chili powder, ground ginger, black sesame seeds, Bayou Cajun seasoning. And the reason why we have such a big jar of that is because we do big vats of shrimp. We'll go down to Louisiana and buy, you know, 10-20 pounds of shrimp. This is kind of another guilty pleasure. I don't do a lot of boxed pre-made stuff, but I do get a lot of gifts from people, and these are nice things to have. You know, just little fancy things that you can just mix them up, cook them up, and they only need a couple ingredients from your pantry, so it's kind of nice. So there are those, and this is obviously a guilty pleasure. This is like the sweet square and the snack square. We love popcorn. We love fresh popcorn, and we love Orville's butter on it. Sorry, but that's the best in my opinion, and it's, you know, it's fairly low in calories, and so that's a guilty pleasure. This was a gift. Very good, yummy stuff. And then we do love infused teas and things here, so we do have these sugar-free syrups that we keep. This is my kind of rice and breading section. I do have some pre-made hash browns back there, you know, rice, panko. This is the Italian section, pretty self-explanatory. Olives, diced tomatoes, and sauces, jarred sauces. Those will get replaced with my own once I harvest some tomatoes this year. Actually, the diced tomatoes will also get replaced. Condiment section. We love fancy mustards and we love pickled things, and because we don't have them, we have them here. So bread and butter pickles, there's dill pickles, there's some pepperoncini peppers back here pickled, ketchup. I'm gonna try really hard to master ketchup myself that my husband will eat, but my husband is a ketchup snob, so Heinz is the only one for him, and I'm hoping that Ashley's will be the only one for him in the near future, but for right now, Heinz takes the cake. Obviously mayo, and then, you know, just some other seasonings. This is my bread section. I've got my, they call those bayonets, for my sourdough bowls, to help shape my sourdough. Baking powder, yeast. There's some whole wheat flour back here. We've got some semolina flour, brown rice flour, specialty flours. The Asian section is getting pretty full, which is pretty cool. We actually use water chestnuts in salads and stir fries. These will probably be something that will be bought from the store from us as a treat to put into stir fries. I love water chestnuts. Soy sauce, also love having soy sauce. It's nice to have around for stir fries and things. I do love liquid aminos. As far as health wise, I do believe it's better for you, but I like having soy sauce on hand. And we do love sushi, so that's where the sushi ginger comes in. The Mexican square is looking kind of sad, but we will fill that back up. We will get some masa, and this is a tortilla maker, so we will make our own tortillas. And these are chipotle peppers in adobo sauce that I special ordered to have them for when we make Mexican food. Cookie sweets, kind of. I don't know how I ended up with so much cocoa powder. It's kind of been a long-standing joke with my friends. I actually have a very dear friend that is highly allergic to chocolate, and She jokes that I'm just stocking up trying to kill her, but I have a ton of cocoa powder. I'll never have to buy it again in my lifetime. Oats. I use oats a lot to make dog cookies, so that's why we have so many oats. And we also use it in brewing situations to brew beer for oatmeal stouts and things like that. So this is the vinegar and oil section. I do have a lot of red wine vinegar, but I recently found a Squisito store, which I'm super excited about. It's going to replace my Cave Creek store that we used to have a resource where we could get Cave Creek olive oil. That's what made me fall in love with olive oil and infused vinegars. But we don't have that anymore, so I'm excited about Squisitos. And of course, you know, just lots of balsamic, red wine. There's rice wine vinegar back there. This is the canning section. We have kosher salt, we have ice cream salt, there's pickling salt back there, canning lids, and then of course pectin is necessary for jams and jellies. Liquor cabinet, and then just more dried goods. Corn and sweet peas, stewed tomatoes, chicken broth, tomato paste, pineapple chunks, a must-have on pizza. You're either a pineapple fan on pizza or you're not, and we are pineapple fans on pizza. Please don't unsubscribe to my channel because of that. Applesauce, beef broth. Here is some home canned applesauce. I think it's just absolutely adorable that my husband had 3 things that he chose to put in the floorboard of his truck, wrapped in t-shirts and pants and towels, and that was my homemade applesauce, my pears, and my salsa. So Mr. Wonderful came in and kicked me out. He's got that bacon to do. So, and I have another very exciting project to move on to. But that is a look at my pantry, you guys. And that's just me being, you know, very open about this transformation. And you know, I must admit that part of me wants to feel a little bit of guilt for having so many, you know, store-bought items in my pantry right now. But it is what it is, and it is real, and it's part of moving across the country and making hard decisions about the things that you have canned and the things that you have decided to not take with you across the country and starting over. So I appreciate you guys coming along on this video with me to see my pantry, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I will talk to you on the next one. Yours truly.